Let's talk about cash flow awareness, why it's so much better than a budget, how to do it, and how to maintain so that you can live an awesome, happy life while you're tracking your money and getting in control of your spending and saving more money so you can pay yourself first and get on the path to time and money freedom. Because let's face it, we know that the more that we save today, the more that we have to put towards cash flowing assets in the future, right? But most people never get there because they don't have the discipline to put that money aside. So while I say discipline, it's not a negative word, it's not punishment, it's actually something that we're reaching for that's better than where we currently stand. Now, if you are already saving 20 to 30% of your income, you're doing a great job. And this might help you be able to just up-level your awareness even further so that you might be able to increase your cash flow and put more aside to the future. So why is it better than a budget? Well, let's face it, budgeting stinks. No one likes budgeting. It is stressful, it's time consuming, it's overwhelming, it's all of these things that I can't have and I can't do, and I have to feel guilty and bad if I spend a little more than I had planned, right? So instead, we want to throw the budget out the window. So instead, we want to approach our spending with awareness and consciousness. And this is how we do it so that we can thrive. First, you want to start with your value system. We want to not even look at the spending first. We want to say, what is the most important things to me? Start from scratch. Start with a clean slate. Don't start by adding in your home and your heating bill. Start by adding in what's most important to you. Maybe it's living in a certain quality of neighborhood so that you can have the quality of life for your kids. Maybe it's having enjoyable experiences on the weekend and making sure you get to travel. Maybe it's high quality food so that you can nourish your body and be in optimal health. Write down what's most important to you. Then we're going to go ahead and set that aside and focus in on the spending. Now, it's really important when we look at the spending to get a track record and a history. If you ask somebody how much they think they spend in a category, chances are they're going to be way off track. And this is just human nature. We think, we probably spend $300 a month in groceries. Well, maybe it's actually $850 a month. Or we think, I probably spend about $100 a month eating out. Well, those people often find out they're spending $7,000 in eating out. So we want to really be aware of where our dollars are going, not in a controlling, lockdown, stressful type of way, but really just being aware and mindful. So how do we do that? I love using mint.com. And this is a free online software that can synchronize and syndicate all of your bank accounts and all of your transaction history so that it will show everywhere that you've spent money in the last several months. What I like about this is that I don't have to go physically type something into a spreadsheet. You might be different. Maybe you do want to type everything out into a spreadsheet, or maybe you want to be in a position where you're physically printing out the account statements and tallying everything up from there. Whatever you do, you want to look back at least 3 months, if not 6 to 12. And the reason for that is you want to get a really good handle on where is your money already going. It's really hard to set a projection or a trajectory in the future that might be really unrealistic if you don't know what you have already been spending in the past. And certainly you might find areas for improvement, but don't go from $1,000 that you're already spending in groceries every month to try to confine yourself to a $300 budget. It's just not going to work. So what you want to do is start with the history. Then you want to plan for the future and say, how much do I think I'm going to spend in each of these categories each month going forward? Now here's where sometimes we get a little bit of a sticky situation. We get lost in translation because not everything is cut and dry. First, start with your fixed expenses. These are your expenses that you know every month are exactly the same. They're bills that are set, like your cell phone, your mortgage. Maybe they're already on auto draft. You know exactly what the bill is going to be, the date that it's due, and it happens every single month like clockwork. Those are fixed expenses. Next, look at your variable expenses. These are things like groceries, clothing, gas for the car, eating out. You know you're going to have them, but you're not sure exactly how much it's going to be each month, and you're going to see some variation from month to month. You might overspend 1 month in grocery because you stocked up a little bit, and the next month you spent a little less. Those things are going to be visible when you look at your variable expenses. Then we want to look at things that happen on a periodic basis. Maybe they're annual, maybe they're quarterly, things like property taxes or HOA fees or Christmas. Now, what you're looking for here is how can you take what you're spending on the annual basis and break it down, chunk it into the average monthly expense so that you can put that into a plan going forward. Then you want to look finally at those true emergencies. These are things like having to replace tires on a car, or auto maintenance, or a medical bill, or an accident. These are things that are unforeseen that we know are probably going to arise just because we live in a human world, but at the same time, we don't know when they're going to happen, we don't know if they'll happen, and we're not sure at all what the expense could be. So for those, we want to make sure we have a true emergency fund. And an emergency fund is that pile of savings that we do have that we can tap into when the unforeseen arises. This makes you not have to have the stress of going through a cash flow crunch or wondering where's the money going to come from, but you have that peace of mind of knowing that it's already taken care of in advance. Now for the other, the fixed, the variable, and the periodic expenses, what we want to do is get a really good idea of what you have spent in the past and then be able to overlay that on the future and say, what do we think we're going to spend on an average monthly basis in each of these categories? Then you want to look at your income. Now, for some people, income is very systematic and it's the same every month. For other people, there might be commissions or bonuses, or you might be a cyclical business where you have certain months or summer that's really high income and maybe winter months are much lower income. What you want to do is get a really good long track record of what that income is and then average that down to each month. Because if you can focus on having a clean picture from month to month on paper, even if your bank account has those fluctuations and maybe one month you have this much income and you only spend this much of it, but the next month your income is way down here and you spend more than your income, it's all going to average out if your averages really work with your income and expenses. Now, what are we looking for here? Ultimately, we want to look at income minus expenses. That equals cash flow. We're looking for cash flow. That's that money that we don't spend each month. That's the money that we have left over that we're paying ourselves first. That's the principle, the first foundational principle of building wealth. We want to get to that cash flow number. Now, if you find that you're in a position where you need to increase your cash flow because maybe you're like many Americans and you stand in a position of maybe 0 to 5% of your income is paid to yourself first or going over into savings, you might need to increase that. Ideally, you want to be in a position of 20 to 30% of your income is paid to yourself first, and then your expenses come out after that. So how do you increase that? So how do you increase cash flow with cash flow awareness? The first thing is, if you're looking at your transactions on a regular basis, you're going to find things that just look crazy. You're going to find things where you said, I didn't really want to go to 7-Eleven and buy those donuts that day. Or I really did not want to go out to eat. Had we maybe planned differently, we wouldn't have spent the money that way. That wasn't really the healthiest meal choice, and it wasn't the best financial choice either. You're going to catch things like that. You're also going to find maybe subscriptions that you used to have that are still just sitting in your account and charging you every month that you're not even using. You're going to find places where your spending is out of alignment with your value system. Now, what's really important is to put this on maintenance so that every week you are having an honest sit-down conversation with yourself and any financial decision makers that are with you in your spending unit, your household, usually a spouse. What you're wanting to do is say, where are we spending that is in alignment with our goals, and where are we spending out of alignment? Do we have any additional income coming in this month? Any less income coming in this next month? Maybe we're looking forward to some future expenses that are going to be different than in the past. You're going to always have life changes. You're going to have adjustments of your value system or things that fall off your plate because they're no longer important to you. And when you have that awareness and you're looking every single week at what transactions have taken place, how close to reaching that spending plan for the month are we, what adjustments should we make, maybe you're going to find things like this. You might have spent less than you planned in one category. Maybe you want to shift that over into the next month, or maybe you want to move that over into savings, Or even better, maybe you found a new priority for that money this month that you might want to adjust that into another spending category. You have a lot of flexibility. So the great news is your life is constantly changing and adapting, and your spending plan should too. But cash flow awareness brings your spending front and center and really puts your attention on it. And wherever you place your attention can thrive. Whatever you ignore is not going to. Think about a plant, a relationship, your health. Everywhere that you focus your attention can grow. Everywhere you ignore is going to shrivel up and die. So make sure you focus your attention on your cash flow, and that will increase the amount of money you have left over each month, which then allows you to have more to save and more to build cash flowing assets with so you can build time and money freedom. Hey, I hope you liked this video. If you did, click the link in the description box below for more information. And don't forget to like this video. Share your comments, questions, and feedback in the comments section below. And don't forget to hit subscribe to our YouTube channel.